So we got a couple projects done yesterday. We got the dinghy lines replaced and that new turning block put in and a new laundry line. So today we're going to start on polish and wax the hulls. It's a dirty job, but somebody has to do it. So we've already got the sail drive oil changed, bottom paint, prop speed on the props. We had this done last year. We were happy with the results. You can look at our haul out video and you can see that we didn't have much growth, and we only had the hull cleaned once while the boat was in the water. So now we've got to work on the hull, and the hull doesn't look too bad, but we found that if you do it annually, then it doesn't become such a problem. And you can see that there's a little line right here, and so we'll start underneath today and we'll see how far we get with the hull cleaning and polish. So first thing to do is to give the bottom a good scrub. So I've got my hose out and we're filling up the water bucket here. We are filling up the water bucket with some water and cleaner, and we're going to scrub. So we got a little bit of work done today, mainly on the port side here. It's hard to see, but you can probably see how it's a little scuffed up looking, not as polished, and that's the rubbing compound. I got most of that side. Got some of that water line gone. Not very glamorous job. Really gets you in the muscles at the top of your shoulder, the delts and I guess the trapezius. So we'll get to work on it again tomorrow. So I'm on day 2 of Operation Polish and Wax the Boat. So over here, we have, before anything, well, basically just washed it. And then back here, we have the polish. So you can see that takes a fair amount. Not all of that staying out though. I only have so much energy. And then the other side here is after the polish and wax. So it looks pretty good. Still got some stain in places, but definitely pulled a fair amount of it out. Tools I'm using are the 3M heavy cutting compound and a orbital or whatever buffer. This one's from Gearot's Garage from my car days. And I'm using a 2-in-1 product from Meguiar's, which is a light polish and wax. And I use a wool buffing pad to buff after I've polished and waxed. Seems to be working okay. Last 2 days I've got the underside done, just from the water line up to that first chine. Really don't have the strength to do much above that. I don't know who could do that. Not me. So I got starboard side done, looks a lot better, a lot less staining. It's not perfect, but most things on boats aren't perfect. And you can see the other side port looks pretty good too. So now to start on the outside. Get my ladder, getting the buffer and everything, and basically going to do the outside of the hull all the way down. I don't need to use the polishing compound because the side's in pretty good shape. It's just a matter of using the 2-in-1 product, but it is a fair amount of ladder work. Well, it's day 4 doing the polish and wax on the hulls. I'm on the starboard side now. I started early this morning, try to get some shade, and it's coming along pretty good. It's just kind of a tedious process. So after 4 days of waxing the hulls, I get to do something a little more interesting, work on the outboard today. This has been in service for about 2 years, and we've just changed the fluids annually. So we're going to do the fluids, engine oil, and the gearbox oil. And we're going to change the oil filter, fuel filter, and we're also going to do an impeller change, which I've never done on an outboard, but I watched a YouTube video. So this is a F20 2019 Yamaha. It's 4-stroke fuel injection. It's run like a champ, so we're just going to give it some needed maintenance. So oil changed. That's the oil filter right there, or oil fill. The dipsticks on the other side of the engine. Down here is your oil drain right there. Helps to tilt the engine a little bit. Only problem I had was that drain plug fell out into my funnel and plugged up the funnel, so I made a little mess. Luckily I had some towels down so that I didn't get oil on the gravel. Now we're working on the gear oil. So the gear oil's on the other side. You can see the drain just below the shaft where the propeller comes out, and up above it is the inlet. Best way to do gear oil is just use your spout on your gear oil jug, put it in the top. I know the Yamaha manual shows putting it in the bottom. That's silly. You just put it in the top until it starts coming out the top, and then it's full. Easy money. One thing you always want to do is replace the little rubber O-rings that are on the fill and the drain for the gear oil, because this is part of the engine that's underwater most of the time, so it's important that you have good gaskets on there. This is what it looks like. This is the water pump, so I'm going to replace that whole assembly. Looks pretty good for a couple years in the water. Not in the water a couple years, but using. So we'll pull it apart and see what the impeller looks like. So we have the bottom end ready to go. This is what the whole shaft looks like. That's the drive shaft down into the water pump. Here we have the water pump repair kit. So not just the impeller, but the whole kit. And it's got a lot of different pieces to it. So we're gonna dive into this. Well, that was a bugger to get off there. You can see it's kind of corroded on the keyway. So that's the key, is just to keep prying. I put a screwdriver under it, just kind of pried it. You don't have to worry about that backing plate because you get a new one with the kit. So like a lot of boat things, this is turning into more of a project than I was hoping for, because that little key right there in that shaft does not want to come out. I called the Yamaha dealer. They said to just keep beating on it, it'll come out. I got some WD-40 on it. We'll see. So the dealer was right. You just have to keep working it. So WD-40 and a little bit of persuasion with a screwdriver and a small mallet, and got it out. Ready for a new one. Housing is a little dirty, so we're going to clean it a little bit. So, old impeller, new impeller. Wasn't in too bad a shape, but it was time to change it. It wasn't completely destroyed. You can see kind of the new and the old together. Most of its teeth was still there. They've taken up somewhat of a bend, but not bad for a couple years of service. So probably not an annual thing. Probably 2 years is probably about right. So putting this together with a little Loctite blue. That's the I want to take it apart someday Loctite, and everything's going together fairly well. The only problem with this project was getting that key out. That was the struggle, but we got it going back together. So this part's important to get right. It has a little tab on the top there, and that's got to line up with the little slot here. So you got to get that lined up, and then you can see there's a pin that locates pins that locate this thing, so you can't put it in backwards or something. So this is the disassembled water pump from the Yamaha F20, and I would definitely recommend getting the repair kit so you get all the parts. This little piece in here, you know, showed a fair amount of wear. You can see it's got a fair amount of wear. That's the inside, and then this bottom plate. Now some of that, this bottom plate, some of that denting was from me trying to remove the impeller, which that shows you that probably need to get the repair kit, not just the impeller, but you can see a lot of the wear and scuffing on it from the old impeller. So If you're gonna do the water pump on Yamaha outboard, I recommend definitely doing the whole repair kit. So we got the water pump replacement all done on the Yamaha outboard, and it's looking good. So it's ready to go back on. Basically just the lower end goes back on to the engine. You just have to get the shaft spline to engage, and it's just 4 bolts, and it all went back together really well. So we're ready for another season or two with a new impeller.